Monday, Mindset Monday to be exact. And I am so excited to join you tonight. Actually, I guess it's more like Solar Eclipse Monday and not really Mindset Monday. But nonetheless, it is Monday and we are here. So it's kind of funny. On Saturday, my husband asked me if I was going to talk about the eclipse at all. Was I going to plan to tie that into my Monday night topic? And at first, I was like, I don't really know. I hadn't thought about it too much. And so then yesterday, I ended up telling him, I guess once the eclipse happens, then I will know if there's a reason for me to tie it in somehow to Mindset Monday. So I actually have an amazing reason to tie it in. I'm going to start tonight with just a quick story. You may have seen my post earlier, but a couple of weeks ago, I was tagged in a video by a girl named Tiffany Nicole, who works at Cornerstone Spa. And she was looking for volunteers or people that would make donations to the spa day that they were hosting for some teen girls from Pendleton Place Shelter. So when I was watching her video and listening to her say, these girls come from a rough situation and they just want to pour back into them and give them love, I immediately thought, oh, that's such a great thing to be doing. But my second thought was, yeah, I can't really help them with that right now. Can't put anything else on my plate financially, time-wise. But God would just not let me shake it off. So I kept thinking about it, and finally decided to just reach out to my circle of friends. And I have to tell you guys, I have an amazing circle of friends. And within no time, people responded and started making donations. They were donating items, they were donating money. And I decided to put together these little goodie bags for the girls. So the number rose from 15 to 20 girls. So last night, I was sitting at my dining room table, stuffing these bags together, and realized that I was short one item. Like I didn't have enough of one item, but I wanted this particular item to be in the bag. So I was like, oh, okay, well, in the morning, I will just have to wait until the stores open at 9 versus dropping these bags off at the salon at 8. And while I was stuffing, I also kind of was like, it would be so great if I just had money, because I would just put money in these bags for these girls. So wake up this morning, set my alarm, rearrange my day so that I can wait until the store opens at 9. Y'all, when I tell you, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., God showed up like you would not believe. In a matter of an hour, I received over an additional $100 in donations from my friends. So not only was I able to buy the one item that was still missing, but I actually was able to put a monetary gift in each bag. And I was blown away. I was in tears at one point, texting with a friend of mine about just how amazing God is. And just the fact that all I had to do was be obedient. I didn't have to understand the whens, the who's, the whys, the hows. God just wanted me to take a step and trust Him with the rest. And so as I was sitting out in my front yard this afternoon with the kids watching the eclipse, I thought about the fact that all day I've been seeing the word totality, because, since this was the full eclipse. And all I could think about in that moment was the totality of God, because the same God who can do amazing, unbelievable, breathtaking things like a total solar eclipse is also the same God that cares for young teenagers that are in a shelter in Greenville, South Carolina, who just need a little bit of extra love and care. The same God that can do something so big can also take care of a need that seems so small in comparison to some of the things that other people are going through. So, not exactly a spin on the eclipse, but just an amazing reminder today of the totality of God and just how all-encompassing He is. So that's my eclipse story. What I want to actually talk to you guys about tonight, though, is finishing up our talk from last week. So last week it started with 5 out of the 10 obstacles that often stop people from attaining their goals. And I said to you then, and I say to you again, that I believe the absolute most empowering thing that can happen is the moment you realize you have a choice. Once you realize you have a choice, that is the game changer for no matter what situation it is that you're dealing with in life. So You can stay stuck with the ant, which is an automatic negative thought, or you can frog jump. And frog is standing for fully rely on God, right? So last week we talked about the 5 things that stop, the 5 obstacles that often stop, are living in your comfort zone, having a negative mindset, failure to take consistent action, succumbing to your fear, and listening to pessimistic people. All right, so we're going to add the last 5 to that list tonight. So reason number 6 that often stops people from meeting their goal is lack of focus. Okay, so as it relates to lack of focus, you have got to get intentional about what it is you're wanting to do and why it is you're wanting to do that. And a lot of times when you look at that, you have to sometimes assess the people that are in your life and the things that are going on. Because if you're not careful, then distraction can lead very quickly to a surplus of ants, right? You know, just like how ants crawl, like if you see like a ton of ants all headed towards something, maybe like food left on the thing, and just tons of them seem like they come from out of nowhere. If you're not careful and you lack focus when it comes to trying to meet a goal, then ants will just take over your mind and keep you distracted. And so for me, I know that that is actually the devil's tool of choice for me, is distraction. He knows that if he can keep me distracted, if he can keep my mind just off-centered and not focused on the thing that I'm supposed to be focused on. And sometimes it might be a small little distraction, you know, but as long as he can keep me distracted, and sometimes it's big distractions, you know, I feel like he intentionally distracted me, causing disruption in my marriage for an entire year to keep me away from this goal right here, to stop me from wanting to be used fully for my purpose. So number 1 is lack of focus. But if you go with frog, fully relying on God, then you establish a clear why. And when you can get so clear on the why that you have for why you want to meet your goal, then that will help you to not lose focus. Another thing is just being aware. You have to be intentional. And if you're intentional, then sometimes you can be aware. Like I'm aware when I'm losing focus, and I know what it takes to get me back on track. Okay, so reason number 7 is lack of clarity. So the more detailed you are about setting your goals, the more likely you are to achieve those goals. Write the goal down, make it very plain, break it down into small steps so that it's something easily obtained. The more clarity there is, the more likelihood there is that you're going to be able to achieve that goal. And if you get stuck with the ants, the automatic negative thoughts, then they can come because sometimes if you don't have clarity on a goal and you're just trying all these different things, but you're not really sure of your plan of action, then the minute you try something and it doesn't work, you'll disregard the whole goal. And it may not have been that there was a problem with the goal. There may have just been that you lack clarity with the necessary steps to take to meet the goal. Okay? So we have lack of focus, we have lack of clarity. Reason number 8 is trying to do too much. And I am definitely guilty of this because sometimes I want to heal the world, fix it all. I want to sign up and be everybody's yes person. I want to support this event, support that event, and then I'm still trying to meet my own goals. And then sometimes, too, my goals can be entirely too big. So I'm trying to do too much because I have these huge goals as opposed to just breaking them down in smaller steps and taking step by step to reach the goal. So if you're not careful there, then your ants can end up, remember ants is automatic negative thoughts, can end up leading to procrastination and frustration. But if you jump like a frog and you fully rely on God, then you can make sure that you keep with goals that are simple and very targeted. The more simple and laid out and clear your goal is, the easier it's going to be to stick to it. So reason number 4, or 9 actually, is making excuses. Okay, so excuses are self-built roadblocks. Like they're the roadblocks that you have total and complete control over. I talk to you all the time about controlling the things that it is that you can control and leaving the rest for God. So focus on the things that you can control. And making excuses is something that you have total control over. Blaming everyone, it's everybody else's fault, it's every other thing's fault. That's ants all day long. Automatic negative thoughts, automatic negative thoughts. And I told you once before that I enjoy following the neuroscientist right now. She's actually a mindset coach. And what she says is that your brain is wired or 5 times more wired for negative thoughts. So if you are not careful, you automatically can be overwhelmed by all the negative thoughts. It requires intentionality to change the negative thoughts to positive thoughts that actually serve you. So, like I say all the time, getting stuck is not an option. We all get stuck. Life happens to the best of us. Staying stuck is a choice that you have complete control over. Okay? So, we've had so far lack of focus, lack of clarity, trying to do too much, making excuses. And then the last reason that stops people from often meeting their goals is procrastination. So my life coach likes to say that procrastination has a purpose sometimes when it's used correctly, because sometimes procrastination can just serve as a pause to get you to stop before you move forward. But when procrastination is not managed, it is actually the enemy of progress and the friend of complacency. So if you get stuck in the ants, the automatic negative thoughts, then procrastination can actually lead to laziness, and you can end up putting your visions and your desires and your goals on hold. But if you can jump, frog, fully relying on God, then you're able to assess meeting your goals like from the mindset of, why should I put off for tomorrow what I can do today? I love that quote. It's an oldie but goodie. But when you can get super focused, right? Have focus, have clarity, a very clear understanding of why it is that you're doing what you're doing, why you have the goal that you have, and then you can also have clarity on the steps it takes to meet the goal, then you're less likely to get hung up by those obstacles. When you can realize that making excuses is something that you have complete control over, then you're less likely to get stuck from procrastination. So, in all, we talked about 10 things that are common obstacles that stop people from meeting their goals. But what I want you to take away from these past 2 weeks more than anything is simply the fact that you have a choice. You have a say in whether or not you meet your goals. Because if something's not going the way you want it to go, you can change it. If you get stuck, you can get unstuck. If you try the first time and it doesn't work, you can try again. You have absolutely no reason why you can't meet your goals unless it's that at the end of the day, it wasn't really a goal that you wanted to meet. So, hope all of that makes sense for this week. I love to leave you with a quote, and today's quote is actually coming from Nelson Mandela. His quotes are my favorite. And so this week's quote says, "It always seems impossible until it's done." And another oldie but goodie that's tried and true is that the difference at the end of the day between successful people and unsuccessful people is simply that successful people have failed more often than unsuccessful people. It's not that they've tried more or that they got lucky or that they knew the right people or the stars and the moon just aligned up accordingly for them. It is that they failed more because they were willing to go hard for their goals despite what was happening. So this has been your Mindset Monday Solar Eclipse edition, and I will see you guys next Monday. Have an awesome week.